as you can hear, the Beatles don't stop playing when they're off stage. At least George doesn't. Is this regular, George? You just feel like playing today?
Just feel like playing today, Brian.
That's nice.
Just playing, Brian.
And when you came off after the first concert, you and John were moaning about the fact that your instruments were out of tune. What do you think was the reason? Because you spent long enough tuning them before you went out.
It's funny, you know, it's all the heat and
humidity.
Everything, everything like that puts the thing out. But once you go on stage, there's such a tremendous noise that if you are out of tune and you try and put it straight, it ends up more out than when you started.
Yeah, well, so you're probably the only one noticing it anyway.
And I think I'm the only one out of the world who could never get a guitar really in tune, ever. You know.
I thought you bought them ready tuned.
I wish, you know, I've been seriously thinking of getting Keith Richard on tour to tune up for us.
He's good at that, isn't he?
Yeah, but he sounds as though he's in tune. I have a hell of a lot of trouble.
How's it sound now?
Oh, this one's okay. This is one of them that's John's, you see. It's in tune now, but guarantee by the time I've put it down, it'll be miles out.
Give us a strum, let's see.
This week's edition of the Beeb's Lost Beatles tapes, They Could Almost Hear Us, features interview material from 1966, when Ringo was in Pop Profile and John and Paul leafed through the Lennon and McCartney songbook. But in 1965, when the Beatles flew out to America for their second concert tour, the BBC dispatched Brian Matthew to report on their progress. His interviews were compiled into a bank holiday special, broadcast on the Old Light programme on the 30th of August, 1965.
John, let's have an assessment now of your feelings about the initial concert in Shea Stadium.
Well, it was marvellous. It was the biggest crowd we ever played to.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Even counting Australia?
Yeah, anywhere in the world. It was the biggest live show I think anybody's ever done, they told us.
Yes.
And it was fantastic, you know. And it was just great. They could almost hear us as well, even though they're making a lot of noise, because the amplification was
It was
terrific,
very good, actually. I must confess I could only distinguish about 3 of the numbers, which I happen to know and could hear.
Yeah, well, the well-known ones you can pick up.
That's right, yeah. Did you do anything that you don't normally do in concerts?
We did I'm Down, so, because I did the organ on the record, I decided to play it on stage. The first time I didn't really know what to do because I felt naked with that guitar, so I was doing old Jerry Lee was putting my foot on it and George couldn't play for laughing. You know, I was doing it for a laugh, but, you know, the kids didn't really know what I was doing. I was just jumping about in the organ. I only played about 2 bars of it.
Yeah. You spotted all the banners hung out on the tours. There was one that interested me. I made a sort of mental note to ask you about it, and it said, "As John says, give us a kiss." Now, this isn't something you've used back home, is it? Is it a phrase you've used here?
It's from the Hard Day's Night film, and some fella's on the train and he's shouting at us and I asking for a kiss.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned it yesterday, I couldn't remember. I just remember then, it must have been that.
It's strange.
Yeah.
And the bubbles coming down and throwing sweets and...
Yeah, well, nothing really reached us because we were so far away, you know, but we could see all the posters. Did they? Good luck.
But by and large, you thought it was an exciting
Yeah,
trip,
it was marvellous, you know, it was the most exciting we've done.
A lot of people have been asking me to ask you this. Do you still get a sort of big kick out of a performance even now?
Yeah, it's just the same, you know, you forget who you are. Once you plug in and the noise starts, you're just a group playing anywhere again. You forget that, you know, your Beatles or what your records are. You're just singing.
And one final thing, do you find you can hear yourself when you're playing in all that noise?
It depends on the amplification of that place. We could hear also. We couldn't hear the voices so well. You got a bit of, you know, echo back.
The bass
could hear
whacking through.
Well, I could hear the instruments because we were just on full blast.
Yeah. Good, great. A lot of the older people here in America have been saying to me in the last day or two, "Oh, poor Beatles, they can't go anywhere, they're holed up in their hotel all day long, every day." Now, I know you've been out once, but how do you feel about this, George?
Well, we don't mind, you know, when we start a tour, we know very well it's going to be wild and lots of people and that we're going to be stuck in a hotel. We don't think we're coming over here to see the sights.
No, quite.
Like, that's the impression most people get, you know.
But then doesn't this go on for you all the time? I mean, wherever you are.
Yeah, but it just depends, you know. The thing is, we go out at home. And the thing is, you know, when you get into your head, you're going for 2 weeks touring, then you just forget about seeing the sights. Yeah. And we, you know, always... In fact, over the last few years we've been in hotel rooms, we find a way of keeping ourselves amused.
Yeah, sure. You say you go out back home. I mean, I can't see you walking down the street, but what do you do?
We go out all over the place. In fact, in London it's quite easy nowadays because there's so many people like us who, you know, who dress like us and who look like us, and, you know, there's so many... the groups who all go out. You know, I was around Carnaby Street a few weeks ago. It was great, you know, it knocked me out because they're just walking along and a couple of people just look at me, but they don't expect to see you going along.
They don't believe it's you anyway, probably.
But we go out every night. Nobody bothers anybody. It's good.
That's a lot better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good, well, I think that's answered that question. Thanks, George. It's been pretty widely noticed and commented on that the 2 married Beatles don't, as a general rule, take their wives with them on tour. Ringo, is there a very special reason for this, or does it just happen that way?
First of all, it would be unfair to fetch him on tour because we travel about so much, and they'd have to keep packing their bags the same as us. And if they go out, they still get they get bothered as well, and, you know, when we go abroad.
Another thing that's frequently asked going on this same subject, really, would you think that it's made any difference at all, doesn't seem to have done to me, to the Beatles as a group, that the 2 of you are now married?
No, I don't think so.
Once upon a time, it did make a difference to pop stars.
I think about 1957, 58, it was a big thing that pop stars weren't married, and everyone kept it up.
Why do you think this has changed?
Well, I think that, you know, all the fans now realise that, you know, we're just human beings and we drink, smoke and get married like anybody else. I mean, when I first thought to get married, I was worried, you know, we talked and then decided to get married. And it was great because about 99% of the mail we got was all, you know, congratulations and we're happy for you. So, you know, that made me, you know, I was very happy and pleased.
Good, thanks a lot, Ringo.
Okay, bye.
One of the things I've found while I've been over here is that because I meet the Beatles, people sort of take a kind of interest in that in itself, and I get interviewed as well as having to do interviews. And one of the things that I've been asked frequently is something I can't answer. So let's see if I can get an answer from Paul. And that is, do you sort of set any possible kind of time limit to how long you may operate as the Beatles, as a singing instrumental group?
No, not really, because We've never made any plans or never kept any sort of, made any time limit in the past. For instance, we never limited the time we were ever going to be playing at the Cavern or anything.
Okay.
So after the Cavern, we never made any plans for how long our record career was going to be. Or we never made plans, in fact, even that we were going to go into films, So now that we're doing things, that we never expected to do, we're not going to set a time limit on them now,
No, sure, you just play it by ear,
Yeah,
as it were.
we just see what happens, and as soon as we stop selling records or stop selling tickets for concerts, we'll finish then.
Sure. Would you visualise the possibility, though, of even if you cease to exist as a performing group, of yourself and John maybe continuing as writers on a different plane?
I don't know. I suppose that kind of thing might happen.
You did have plans at one time, at least half plans, of thinking of a stage musical. Has that gone any further?
Yeah, we were thinking about that. The only drag was when we first thought of the idea. We thought we would do something about Liverpool, and we'll do this and that. And suddenly realised Lionel Bart was writing it. He was writing it at that time, and he had the idea. So we thought, oh well, better give in with that. So we keep trying to think of ideas for them because I think we like to do one. We like to do one and make it very modern.
Yes, exactly.
Dead modern with the kind of music that's selling today.
Sure.
It's the kind of popular music, because that's in fact what people like Cole Porter did,
In their own period, exactly.
They just did. They were pop songs, They are the songs that today are the standards.
Yeah.
I think the mistake people are making is they're writing shows now with standards in them.
Yeah.
Because older people go to the theatre, and it's going to be silly because in 50 years' time we're not going to have standards then. Because it's like
we'll have the same ones.
Exactly.
Anyway.
It's like somebody said to me about Hello Dolly, and they said that in 20 years' time that's going to be the big standard. It sounds logical, but I just suddenly thought, well, why should it be? Because in 20 years' time it's going to be like Black Bottom. It'll be that old then, and it may not be a standard. There'll be a new kind of standard then.
Sure.
Just hope some of our music's in it.
Sure, it will be. Thanks a lot, Paul. John, do you find problems with the food over here, which I find very different from our dishes back home for the most part?
Yeah, well, they have the same basic food, but they ruin it when the cook gets it. So it's usually hotels anyway. If you go to somebody's house, they feed you more. The food's good there.
Yeah, well,
We've eaten in a few houses over the last couple of tours, and their food's good. It's just hotel food.
You eat in hotels, yeah.
Yeah,
so
well,
what
it's
do you
the
order?
same in Britain or anywhere. Well, now we've just ordered egg and chips, so they don't normally eat that, but they fry eggs in the morning, they make chips with the steak, so we combine it, and you get egg and chips.
And then a few beans.
And beans if they've got them, I don't know.
What about drink? Do you go for the coffee? Or
Coffee, I like that, yeah. Well, we have sort of tea in the morning and coffee the rest of the day. They get a bit worried if you're on tea all the time.
But you're feeling fairly well fed?
Feeling fine and fat, yeah.
Good, great. The Beatles made their entry and exit to Shea Stadium in New York via a helicopter, and I think George can fill us in on a few of the details. You didn't actually drop into the arena.
No,
What did you do, George?
They wouldn't allow us to drop right into the arena, and so we had to land on the roof of the World Fair. From there we went into the stadium in a Wells Fargo armoured truck. That was good. I didn't think Wells Fargo was still going, actually. Thought the Indians got them all years ago.
And then in an underground tunnel?
No.
You came right into the middle of the truck?
Yeah, right into the stadium.
The reason I don't notice is because there were about 50,000 standing up on their chairs in front of me, And you went out the same way?
Yeah, I went out by helicopter, yeah.
He seemed to be circling around.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. When we got on the helicopter on Wall Street, and instead of going right to the show, the fellas started going round, zooming round the stadium, saying, "Look at that, isn't it great, fellas? And look at the World's Fair, and look at this." And we're hanging on there by the skin of our teeth, thinking, let's get out of here.
You could have done without that.
Extracts from the Beatles Abroad, with Brian Matthew recording the group's August 1965 tour of North America. 9 months later, he interviewed Ringo for the BBC's Pop Profile series, specially made for the overseas market, and never heard in Britain until now. Brian Matthew asked Ringo about the kind of records he liked to play in his spare time.
I play anything, just anything.
Are there any artists or musicians that you'd go out of your way to listen to?
Not right out of me,
well,
if they're
as far as the record.
as long as they're on the way into town, it'll be all right. No, I sort of get mad things, I sort of go potty on people just after hearing one record, and I buy a couple of LPs. And that's it, you know. I may play one of the LPs and then I never bother again. I'm like that with most things, you know. I sort of want things and then I get them and then I get tired.
Like what other things? Can you think of anything that you felt that way about?
Well, more when I was a kid, you know. I sort of want a bike. Give me a bike, you know. Spoiled brat. and I'd get a bike and then I'd swap it for a steering cart or something. And then my mother would say, "But I paid a lot of money for that bike," and and some kid made the steering cart in his backyard. And I'd swap that for the tom-tom and things like that. I just kept wanting things till I got them, you know.
So even when you were a kid, I mean, obviously your sights were lower than they are now. You were still able to get most of the things you wanted?
Well, I mean, I didn't want much, did I? You know, an £8 bike and things like that. I never wanted anything big, so, you know, just soft little things. Yeah. And I just wanted them, and I tried to get them and got most of them, and then just got rid of them.
So would you say, on the whole, that you've had a fairly easy life?
Yeah, I've had an easy life, yeah. I've never been hungry, never been cold. You know, I've had a good life. I wouldn't change any of it, you know, even the bit before. This bit's much better, mind.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, I still wouldn't bother me to go through all the rest again. Because, Are you from a big family or a small family? I'm the only child.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, there you go, you see. Yeah. People say, oh, only child, you must have been spoiled. But I wasn't spoiled where I could have everything because my mother went out to work, you know, and she was the only one getting any money. So, therefore, I suppose it was one of the reasons I never asked for big things. I just asked for little things, which may have seemed big, but they weren't really.
When did you first get interested in music?
When I was about 14 in hospital, they used to have to keep us happy, you know, all the kids, because I was 14. They had a sort of ward band, and the little sort of teacher came along, and she sort of put a big board up with all yellow dots and red dots, and when she pointed to red or yellow or green, the triangles or the drums, or, you know, silly little band. It was great fun. Yeah. And I would never play unless she gave me a drum, you see. So I used to fight for the drums then. And I think that's when I first became interested, and then I used to sort of bang on the desk, on the locker next to the bed and things. And then I came home, and I put little bits of wire on top of biscuit tins and used to bash them with pieces of firewood, you know. And then I got a 30-bob bass drum, which used to drive them all mad. I was about 15 and a half, I think, 16. And I got this bass drum, you know, just a one-sided bass drum, and I used to bang it, sort of bashing it to the BBC and things like that.
Did you ever have any kind of tuition at all, or was the whole thing...
I had about 3 lessons. I sort of, once I got interested and sort of said, right, I'll go and read music and learn how to play, you know. And only I went to this little man in, you know, it was just in a house sort of thing, and he played drums, and he sort of said, get a manuscript, and he wrote it all down. And I never went back, you know. After that, I couldn't be bothered, you know. It was too routine for, you know, all that paradiddles and that, and I couldn't stand it. I don't think I'd ever bother learning now, you know.
No. Well, OK, Ringo, I think that sort of takes us to the end. It's time I let you go and do some more legging about, isn't it?
Thanks a lot then, Brian. Well, all the best.
Pop Profile from London featured Ringo Starr.
And George Harrison's Pop Profile will be featured in 2 weeks' time. On the 29th of August 1966, while the Beatles were far away in San Francisco giving their last ever live concert, John and Paul were heard on the BBC Light programme discussing with Keith Fordyce a bizarre assortment of cover versions in the Lennon and McCartney songbook.
The Irish Guards recording of She Loves You. And the Irish Guards are just one of many and literally varied people who've recorded compositions by Lennon and McCartney. I've got a list of at least 300 recordings that have been made in this country alone by all sorts of people. who have taken a fancy to different types of Lennon and McCartney songs. And the two gentlemen concerned are sitting with me now in the sitting room of Paul McCartney's house. Starting off with a question about, do you ever resent anybody else recording your songs?
No.
No.
Never.
No, never.
It's all good. It's all good stuff, you know, whatever anyone does with it. They always make it different and normally better than we did.
You seriously mean that?
Well, yes, quite often. Yeah.
I don't agree on that point, Paul.
Not always better than you.
John doesn't agree.
No, it's just the opposite, I think. But it's still good them all doing them.
But do you get more interest out of artists who are perhaps, unlike yourself, solo artists, say, the Peggy Lee type? Does that interest you more than another group copying your style?
Yeah. That's what I meant, actually, when I said I don't necessarily mean they're sort of much better.
Oh, well, I agree with you now, Paul.
That's the thing, really, that when they do them, when people like Peggy Lee do them, then it's they do them different, and it's probably just a bit better because it's different for me.
It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a log, but when I get home to you, I find the thing that you do will make me feel alright.
Peggy Lee's recording of A Hard Day's Night. Have you got any thoughts on other composers, people whose work you particularly admire?
Yeah. Who is there? There's lots of them, actually, but they're not sort of big as composers, mainly the ones. I like still, I think, Goffin and King, because they're the kind of writers that we set out to be. You know, those were what we wanted to be originally, because it was they wrote all the big sort of hits at the time.
And they were always nice as well.
Always nice, sort of commercial, great, sort of easy to sing and everything.
But not horrible. They were all sort of, you know.
I mean,
You're never sickly, you know.
They were up above the corn belt.
Yeah.
And interesting as songs.
And we were just deciding which one was going to be Carol, that sort of decided we'd have our own system instead.
It turned out to be me.
All My Loving, as recorded by Matt Monro. Do you want to say anything about this one?
It's fine, you know. He did it how people imagine it should be done.
Yeah, that was the thing. After Matt Monro did it, everyone said, oh, that's a nice song, isn't it? Whereas beforehand they thought it was just a gay little ditty, you know. And it still is. But it changed a few people's minds about us, I think.
Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you. Remember, I'll always be true. And then while I'm away, I'll write home every day and send all my loving to you.
That was Matt Monro with All My Loving. How far do you feel that your individual talents are dependent upon each other? I mean, are you sort of Gilbert and Sullivan or Rodgers and Hammerstein? Do you need to work together as composers?
No, not really, but it helps a lot.
Just on the old maxim of two minds are better than one.
Yeah.
You get another point of view as well.
The thing is, because we can do them on our own, but often one of us will just do a song and there'll be, say, one verse in it that's very bad or something, and it's very corny, and if I've written it, then I'll sort of take it along and sing it to John. And he'll say, that verse is terrible and that verse is corny. Come in, Mrs. Higgins.
Because you still get so involved in something, you finish it, if you're on your own, you haven't got the energy to go over it and sort of see, you know, if it really makes exactly what you want. So if you sing it over to each other, even if it's a finished song, you know, with almost the arrangement, it's still sort of, yes, that's fine.
Your milk, John.
Thank you, Mrs. Higgins.
Oh, thank you.
It's really nice to hear that.
Mrs. Higgins arriving with 3 glasses of milk.
It's not even Mrs. Higgins either.
Oh, well. Yeah, put me on bus drive.
That was Mr. Higgins.
Oh, yes. Do you consider that you the two, do you consider you think alike, or do you think differently and therefore help each other?
We think nearly alike, but pretty differently at the same time. But I mean, you know, we can write a song, say like Day Tripper, where we've got to write one, and at the same time be the same writing it. You know, we can write it thinking the same thing about it. But if we each wrote it individually, it'd be a completely different song.
Yeah. Well, there's a slight difference in this one we're going to hear now. Lena Horne with And I Love Him.
I give him all my love, that's all I do. And if you saw my love, you'd love him too. And I love him.
No, I didn't write that.
Lena Horne with And I Love Him. What did you write?
And I love her.
And you love her. Was it written for anybody in particular?
Yes, Keith.
At that time?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think probably most of them are. Yeah.
Most of the songs are?
Yeah, I think so, in a way.
Have you written any songs specifically for people? Did you write Wait for Frankie Vaughn?
No. We weren't thinking of Frankie at the time. But no, we used to write in the early days when we had more time to write for other people, or we seemed to be. That's the only time
we wrote one for Helen
people.
Shapiro and Kenny Lynch did it.
Yes.
We wrote one for Cliff and we did it. And Billy J and those days were the only ones we really wrote for people. We thought we had some to spare.
It's been a long time now, I'm coming back home. I've been away now. Oh, how I've been alone. Wait till I come back to your side. We forget the tears we cried.
Frankie Vaughn with Wait. The songs like And I Love Her, If I Fell, Michelle Yesterday, the more winsome type songs. Do you find yourselves able to write in this mood at a particular time of day or night? Are you nighttime writers or?
You'll have to excuse the dog, listeners, but he doesn't know we're on the radio.
How old is this dog?
7 weeks, actually, 7 weeks, so it doesn't really understand about the BBC yet.
What type of dog is it?
Old English sheepdog, it will be eventually.
It's a young English
At the
sheepdog.
moment, it's a spaniel.
Right, what have we got to? Oh yes, these songs. Do you prefer writing at night? Are you night workers?
No, any time really. You know, when you're awake. Not too near the morning when you're half asleep, and not when you're tired, so it doesn't matter what time it is, but just the period when you feel quite healthy.
Do you use piano, guitars, what, when you're playing?
Anything, piano or guitar. Yeah, that's about our limit.
But I'm just finding I don't know enough chords to write them with the guitar, so I'll have to get some old fella to come in and play to me.
It's got to be an old fella, though.
Yeah.
It couldn't be one of these young whiz-bang kids, you know.
They wouldn't have time.
Well, there it is. It's been very enjoyable in your own, in the incredible quiet of your own sitting room, Paul.
It's very quiet in here, Keith, except for the dogs howling and the clock ticking. And
otherwise,
well, it's been nice to have you, really.
John, thank you very much too for coming over.
My pleasure. It was
away from your home.
Anytime you're
nice
around,
paddy's got, isn't it, as they say in the teen rave.
Teenage rave. Well, thanks, Keith. And if you're ever around this way again, pop in.
The Lennon and McCartney Songbook with Keith Fordyce and John and Paul. Next week, a special Christmas edition of the Beebs Lost Beatles tapes, featuring festive appearances with Brian Matthew and Rolf Harris. A Crimble Mudley.